really frustrated, but I have to tell myself, Christine, you're learning it. That's why you don't know it. That's why you're getting frustrated. You don't know it. But then I try and remember the things that I know that come easy to me and how great it feels. And I think, okay, once I push through this, once I push through it and I get to the point where I actually know it, then, you know, all those feelings will go.
Hi, welcome to the Tarun Stevenson Leadership Channel. I'm your host, Tarun Stevenson, and we are all about helping you lead, communicate, and grow to your full potential. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or your favorite podcasting app, don't forget to subscribe and follow so that you can stay up to date with all our latest episodes. All right, here's the latest episode. Let's get into it. Well, hey everybody, I'm here with Christine Huff Mesiti. She's an entrepreneur and businesswoman and the better half of Pat Mesiti. Welcome, Christine, to the show.
Hi, so great to be here.
And so good
Thanks
to
for
talk
having
to
me.
you. Christine, we've known each other for a little while now. I've done a lot of work with Pat, and I just was really interested in getting you on board because you may not be as well known to, say, followers of Pat Mesiti, but really you're the engine that drives his machine, aren't you? You have such a high involvement in the back end of Pat when he's touring. You really coordinate his events, but you're a very successful entrepreneur in your own right. And I thought it'd be really wonderful to bring you on board and have a chat with you. Why don't we start with just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and let's just have a conversation about it.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, Tarun. So it's a pleasure for me to be here. Well, for me, first of all, I am a mother. I've got 3 sons, so that's a little bit of my background. All my sons are all grown up. I am a grandmother as well. And I do, Pat, I said to Pat today, oh, gee, what I'm going to say, and he goes, tell everybody you take care of a problem child, which is him. I said, no, you're not. Pat's an amazing guy, and so I do take care of a lot of the back end of a lot of stuff. When I say back end, a lot of stuff he does with all these events and things that he would run. Obviously, with, you know, everything that's happened right now with COVID, we've had to swap everything around. So as far as we've had to bring everything at home. So what you see behind the studio, the lighting, you know, a lot of different things that have happened, we've had to swap it around. So things like that, you know, I've had to do for Pat. So over the years, definitely all his appointments and like running our events, we do events overseas, locally. So we were just like constantly on the go. Also what I do, I have my own business, which I do, which a lot of people wouldn't know about, which is okay by me because, you know, to go under the radar, which I import a very exclusive product from Sweden, an anti-aging product from Sweden.
Great. All right. Well, we're going to talk more about your business, but why don't we start with the transition that you've had to go through in moving from live events to online business models. And you know, Pat has a rigorous touring schedule. You know, he's a live presenter, and that's really the engine of how he runs his business. And you've been heavily involved in coordinating his schedule, his travel, and making sure the events go off without a hitch. And there's a lot involved in that process. How have you found that transition moving to, say, more of an online presence? We've all had to do it, and we've all had to find new ways to get our messages out there. How has that process of transition been for you?
Yeah. Well, initially, you know, it was a little daunting, but, you know, we are just so grateful and so blessed, you know, that we have a great business partner as well. And I think in life, you know, when you team up with people that have great knowledge and great skill as well, you know, it really does help. So with getting together and just ended up just taking everything online. And initially you think, oh my gosh, you know, are people going to want to do it online because are you going to do this, all the events and everything online? But you know what? People were so hungry. I feel right now people are really hungry for knowledge. People are really, really hungry to learn new skills and learn new things, because the future to a lot of people does seem really, really uncertain. And a lot of people that have put things off for such a long time are finally thinking, oh my gosh, here's my opportunity.
Yeah.
Now I need to do this. As far as like us being so used to going, you know, sometimes we'll put photos on Facebook of us with like 10 suitcases, you know, I'll have audio gear, we'll have books, we'll have all sorts of stuff. You know, we're not carrying all this stuff around. So personally for us, we're not doing, you know, running through airports and here and there and everywhere. All of a sudden we found ourselves just stopped. You know, and we're doing, you know, we're still working. So then what we did what everybody else decided to do. We renovated our house.
Very good. I'm guilty of that too. So how have you found that transition? I mean, I as somebody who does touring myself, there's a part of me that misses being on the road. But there's a part of me I've liked the shift in pace. I've enjoyed the ability to focus on other areas of my life, especially my family. So how have you found that transition from doing something that you guys are, you know, you do it even more than I do, and it's such a way of life for you, to suddenly having that massive shift?
Yeah. I found like there are moments when I think, you know what? If not for this time, we wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah.
There are things that I've found, there are so many things that I've been so grateful for this time. And I think a lot of times for every down, there is always an up.
Great.
And there are things that we've been able to do in this time just by being able to just stop, almost kind of stop, and reset and rethink. Yes, there's a part of us that I feel like, you know, we went up to Port Douglas and we just had a break, went up to there. Well, normally we probably would have been in Italy. Yeah. You know, we've been in Positano, and so we're looking at photos, and it's easy to go, oh, you know, we would have been there. But then I thought, you know what? I'm so grateful. Last year, Pat had his 60th birthday. We all went there. I think I'm so grateful that we did go there. We did do that then. Yeah. And now, you know, we're just going to be thankful for where we are now. Be grateful for what we did do. Yeah. And there's so many things I feel like if not for this just period of time of stopping, we wouldn't have been able to do all the renos on our house that we've done. Yeah. There are people that we've connected with and things that we've done and things with family we would not have been able to do had not have been for where we are now. So I think it's good to pause and stop and just think for a little while, because there can be some good in there as well.
Yeah, that's great advice. I want you to talk to somebody who maybe they've found that their life has, you know, stopped as they know it, or it's slowed down, and they've been waiting for things to return to normal. But as many people are finding out now, well, that return to normal may not come anytime soon. What steps would you give people to make a shift, to go after something that maybe they've had in their heart to do, but they've either been too scared or too busy to do it in the past? How do you make that shift from being stuck to actually saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity, I'm going to do something different?
Yeah, I think first of all, when you just sit and you just wait for things to return to normal, if we're going to sit and wait for the government to say to us, okay, now you can go. If we're going to sit and wait, as we sit and watch the news, if we watch everything that's out there, it's very negative. it's almost like if we sit and wait for the news to give us something positive, we're never going to get it.
Yeah.
And we will just sit there and we're going to wait for a positive sign, and it's just not going to happen. Sometimes I think you've got to switch all that stuff off. And I believe right now with all this, supposedly, kind of lockdown, some places are locked down more than others.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff online that you can go online to do and things that you can learn.
Yeah.
So if you can go on there and do research, good stuff, I'm saying, don't go on there and look at all the bad stuff, go and look at good stuff, learn skills. You might want to learn how to, start an online store. But do research, find good people, and you might want to learn how to do share trading, or this is a time to learn another skill right now. But I would say you can start in small steps, but just start researching, because if you wait for a sign, it's not going to happen, because the media is not going to give you a sign. The only sign the media is going to give you is fear.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Stop. Don't do anything. Stay home. Shut the door and take the government funding. That's all they're going to tell you.
Yeah. So true. And I hear what you're saying about just sitting around waiting for something to change. And, I understand that there's an element where people are trying to be, obedient and trying to be compliant. And, but there's a distinction you make there. And if you wait for things to happen, if you just wait for good stuff to come into your life, you'll probably be waiting a long time. If you've got a desire in your heart, there are ways that you can go out and you can start to move the wheel, even if there are restrictions as far as getting out of your house or anything like that. And I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk that says that, we live in a time where anybody can start a business from their phone. We have the unique availability to information and knowledge like never before in history. And that's really been your story. When you started your business, Swede Success, which is an anti-aging product, you're now the exclusive distributor in Australia. You were a mum looking for an opportunity to just balance kids and an income. So tell us about that process when you were at that beginning stage where you decided, okay, I want to do something for myself. What were the steps that you took to move into that realm?
Well, I actually I bought the company from another company.
Yep.
And then I was actually set it all up from home. So they were in a building and everything. So I set it all up from home. And I wanted to have it that, I borrowed no money. I owed no money, so set it up. And the great thing was with I have my products here, but the great thing, actually the good thing today, like if anybody wanting to set up these like e-commerce or online shops, you don't have to hold any stock or anything at home. You can set up. So it's absolutely brilliant. You just got to get on, get yourself on the right system, do a bit of research and get yourself onto the right sort of program. But for me, my products take up next door to no space. I didn't have to have massive warehouses or anything. It's just, just really, I'll show you. Look how tiny this is. Look how much space does that take up? It takes up a tiny bit of space. And so I set up my office from home, and then I would go around, visit pharmacies, but my biggest thing, which is the biggest thing that we push even with Pat's business as well, is your database. Is eventually along the way, in the early days, it didn't click with me as much. Then eventually I realized that it was my database that was the biggest thing for me. And so I was selling to pharmacies, but those are buying direct from me, and my direct customers and people who I had their information, I had their database, so I had their email addresses. I can then email them and send them out specials, and that was my best. So once that clicked with me, that was a way better. That was a better way of me doing business. I do still sell to
Yeah.
a couple of the major online pharmacies, but anyway, so I just set up from home, and it enabled me to, like, when my boys were at school, when they were home on school holidays, I was always around. I worked in between their hours, easily able to shift stock.
Yeah.
I went out, I did a lot of training. I used to go down to Melbourne, did a lot of training in pharmacies. When Terry White pharmacies back in the day was back then, I did heaps of training in a lot of the major pharmacies. But now everything's gone more online, which, you know, it suits me just fine, you know,
Right.
and it actually gave me a lot of freedom, you know, with my boys, to be able to spend time with my boys, to be able to do the soccer games, to be there when they came home from school at the end of the day, to give them something to eat, to make sure their homework was done, you know, and it was just an incredible thing, you know, to have that online business, you know, it was great.
Yeah. The thing I love about your story, Christine, is, you know, it seems like the conversation around parenting and having a balance at home versus a career and owning a business. It's like, it's got to be one or the other. And I know that there's a lot of parents out there that probably feel the pinch for having to balance family commitments with building a business or building a career, and feeling like I can't have both. But I love that you chose to design your business in such a way that it allowed you to be there for your kids. It allowed you to do the things you needed to do for your family, but still, you know, there was nothing stopping you from getting out there and building a successful business. Now, since that inception, tell us a little bit about what's happened with your business and how you've grown that beyond just starting in your home, and where the business has taken you since then.
Yeah, well, since then, you know, I mean, obviously, like I said, you know, I've been able to do a lot of traveling, and I mean, I find now, really, with my business, it's a lot of it kind of does, a lot of it runs itself, and I find that, you know, I have my regular customers, they just come back all the time, and it doesn't. I find it doesn't take me a lot of hours. So as it's like built and built over the years, I find it's given me even more freedom.
Yeah.
Because just that building and building over the years, building the customers, it's and I feel really bad saying it sometimes. It doesn't take me a long time.
Yeah.
It used to initially, but it doesn't take me a long time to do what I have to do, to fulfill what I have to do in my business.
Yep.
So it actually allows me to do what I have to do with Pat's business. It means I can travel. I was able to travel and do things with his business, and my business could still run as well.
Great.
So it's just kind of just keeps going. So it's kind of one of those things, you know, over the years, it just keeps, you know, it's just been a great blessing, you know, to me.
That's awesome.
You know, so.
Now, you've been running
and
Swede.
also,
sorry, go on. Yeah.
I was going to say also, the great thing that's been really, really good with the business is I have been able to meet just some of the people I've been able to meet, like the chairman of dermatology from the Karolinska Hospital in Sweden, scientists from the not Monash University, you know, just great scientists, major scientists, just getting information. Even though I'm not a dermatologist, I'm not even a beautician, but I've been able to meet with just great minds that have just been really happy to, you know, dump information onto me and just, you know, just give it to me in layman's terms. And so, you know, it's just been a great thing, you know, for me.
That's fantastic. So you've been running Swede Success for 10 years now. Over that 10 years, your business model has shifted. You started off fairly dependent on pharmacies, but you've moved more and more online. And as you've done that, you've found that the ease of business, or the commitment to running the business, has adjusted with that. I'm taking a guess here, because this is usually true of most businesses. In the beginning, it was probably a lot more work and a lot harder than it is now. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. I would say, because in the beginning, when I was dealing with lots and lots and lots and lots of pharmacies,
Yeah.
there's lots and lots of invoicing and lots more
Sure.
accounting, a lot,
Sure.
lot of, all that sort of stuff. When you start dealing a lot more, direct,
Yeah.
there's a little bit less, that
Mm.
that you have to do. It's just like when people start doing, people get involved with, the e-commerce. They're doing their online shops. A lot of it comes in more direct.
Yeah.
Still, like the pharmacies I deal with, they're great,
Mm.
great pharmacies. But I find, my business, it's a lot smoother. It's just a lot
Yeah.
easier to run. At the beginning, I had to do a lot more running around, a lot more training. And, I guess in the end, it all sort of pays off because you're training a lot of places, and customers sort of, you train the pharmacies, they tell the customers, and the customers get to know the product a bit more.
Yeah.
But it is it's a lot easier now. It's a lot smoother, heaps smoother now than what it was in the beginning. Yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
that really is, I think, the beauty of online business. And
Yeah,
I mean, I'm finding that
yeah,
even with my own business, since
yeah,
we've
yeah,
stopped touring and I've focused on video courses and
yeah,
going online, just the ease of business, it's taken a lot of
yeah,
that other organizational stuff out of the equation. So what about
yeah.
somebody who's starting out and maybe they're in the phase of, this is really hard work. I'm still trying to build a list. I'm still trying to make this business viable.
Mm,
Talk about some of the mindsets or some of the attitudes that you bring to that when you're learning a new skill or you're learning
mm,
to adjust to change. How do you keep yourself in the moment, keeping going forward, even when
mm,
it
mm.
feels maybe difficult to overcome?
Yeah. Well, for me, like I have a new program that I'm trying to learn, and I do get really, sometimes I get just really frustrated, but
Mm.
I have to tell myself, Christine, you're learning it.
Yeah,
That's why you don't know it.
yeah,
That's why you're getting frustrated. You don't know it. But then I try and remember the things that I know that come easy to me and
mm.
how great it feels. And I think, okay, once I push through this, once I push through it and I get to the point where I actually know it, then, all those feelings will go.
Yeah,
So I've just got to, what I'm learning right now, this new program, I've just got to push through and, just learn it. And because sometimes too, I think when you get really frustrated, you think, oh, especially like me, okay, I'm older, and it's like you try to learn something new, especially if it's technical.
mm.
Um, I want to just go, oh, forget it. I'm just going to call my son and I'm just going to get him to do it for me. But, I think I gotta learn it. And then, but once I learn it, it's easy for me to just give up. It'd be easy to say, forget it. But once I know it, then, I just say, just push through, because think of all the things you already have done.
Mm.
Once you push through this new thing, you just got to push through that little bit of pain barrier. It's
Yeah,
almost like probably exercising. If you go to the gym and you're,
so true.
lifting a certain weight, and then you add a few more kilos, and you do that, and then
Mm.
you get through that. Then you add a few more kilos, just a little bite at a time, and another bite at a time, and another bite at a time, and then eventually you'll push through. But just persevere, because I tell you what, if you don't, you get left behind,
Yeah,
and you're going
so
to be
true.
sitting back there and you're going to be going, oh my gosh, if only I had done that 12 months ago.
Yeah,
If only when that whole COVID thing had happened and the lockdown had happened, if only when it happened, I'd have taken the opportunity then and learned it.
so true. So true. I
Yeah.
love what
And
the distinction you made there of reminding yourself that there's a whole bunch of things you do well. I think it's
yeah,
Maslow's phases of learning or competency, and one of the
yeah,
phases is conscious incompetence. We all go through this
Yeah.
place where we realize we have no clue what we're doing. And that's a really painful place to be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to keep moving forward, to remind yourself, no, there's a lot of things I do well. And if I keep practicing this, I'll get good at it as well. That's a
Yeah.
great reminder. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
So what about, I know you're really passionate about helping mums develop businesses where they can work from home and they can balance family and career aspirations. So what advice would you give to mums specifically? And maybe there's some dads listening in as well that are interested, but I know that this is a passion of yours. What advice would you give to mums who are sitting there saying, you know, I'd love to be able to do something like this. You know, how do I get started?
I think, yeah, there are some mums who their kids, you know, they're about to go back to school or going to start school, and then, you know, they have that time there. And also I think there are mums that feel like they want to contribute something else to, you know, the family household. So, and like, for me, like I'm talking about me personally, like as when, you know, when I was raising my kids, I didn't want to, I wanted to do something, but I didn't want to do something to take me away from the kids. So I think, well, I guess there's two things people can do, but I don't think the first option is, with all the unemployment, is that viable right now. You know, you go get yourself a job in between school hours, and I don't think there's that many of those things going right now anyway. So, but I think if you want to do something online, I would really recommend that, again, there's a lot of like the e-commerce, and even like with our, with, you know, perhaps with our business, you know, we do have access to those sort of things, people that we can put them in contact with, because we're very, very, very careful about, you know, who we use in that area. You know, things that are proven, and just make sure who you use are credible. But it's important to find somebody. You'll need a coach, like I said, you know as well. You need a coach, someone that can teach you. You can go online and you can, as we always say, you can get someone to teach you just enough to mess everything up. You know, but you need to get yourself a proper coach, and if you're committed to the journey. And some people think, you know, some mums may think, okay, I want to do it. Okay, so this week I'm going to learn it. I've got 2 days, I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to be online, I'm going to be up and running. You know, it doesn't work that way. Set yourself a process and a time. So you might think, okay, over the next few months, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to get my shop up and running, and give yourself time. So many times, you know, people come in and they think, okay, I'm going to do this. How fast can I make money? How fast can I do this? How fast? But set yourself, you know, a time and go through the process. Stick to the process. Don't skip any steps, and really learn it, and listen to your mentor, your coach, and go through the process. And then you will see the fruits of that later. So I think, yes, definitely, I recommend to any mums, or what a brilliant way, if you are at home, and you want to still be around for your kids, and you want to earn an extra income. I mean, you don't know, that extra income could be the one that takes over the income of the whole family. I mean, you don't know. You just don't know. And it happens many, many times. You know, what products you get on board that just take off. And there's many coaches that can coach you on. I've got a girlfriend of mine who does e-commerce and coaches people, and she sources out products. You just don't know what products that you get that can just really, really take off on your shop that you put online. And look, it doesn't have to be a shop. Somebody might have something else that they're passionate about. They might want to be a coach. They might want to teach on parenting. There might be other things that, you know, whatever that passion is in your heart, or you might have worked, whatever you might have been doing before you've had your children. You might want to take that business online. You know, it doesn't have to be an online store. You know, there's many different things, you know, that you can take online.
Yeah, that's great advice there. And just to highlight some of the points that you made there is one, find a system that works. There's a lot of
Yeah.
different avenues you could go down, whether it's
Yeah.
e-commerce or whether it's some kind of coaching business or teaching business. There's a lot of, find a system that works, because there are already people out there doing it. And if you can learn from them, great. And your second piece of advice, get a coach or get a mentor. I know that has been really influential in my growth as a entrepreneur, is having people who are ahead of me that can help me to identify where I'm going wrong and keep me on track. And the last thing that I heard you say, and I think that this is so important for beginners, is give yourself time. We live in such an instant generation where everybody wants it now, and we've got to remind ourselves that the people that we admire have been doing it so much longer than us, and they've taken time to build that. So that's great advice there, Christine. Tell us about your business specifically. What does Swede Success do? I know you're a skincare products, but what specifically do you promote, and how can our listeners, if they are interested, how can they access or connect with you?
Well, my product is an anti-aging range, so it's only a very small range, but it's a range that's a very credible independent study published in the British Journal of Dermatology, which is like the Bible for skincare. Sure. So we basically focus on anti-aging. We do have like a cleansing cream and, you know, a face mask and that sort of thing, but really focusing on aging. For me, you know, like I'm 56, I started using it when just before I turned, I actually started using it just before I turned 40. So that's when I was first introduced to the product. So for me, it's been actually over 10 years that I've actually been using the product.
Yeah.
So it's basically just anti-aging, wrinkle, pigmentation, pore size, dark circles, targets all of those, credibility, does everything it says, simple. You don't have to use 10 different products on your face. You know, we've got firming, lifting serum for the firming, elasticity of the skin. It's, for me, I've always thought, you know, you don't have to use a whole lot of stuff. You know, that you just, there's so many companies that will sell you 10 different things for your face, but we've always focused on science, credibility, and simplicity, really, for the skin. So that's basically, and for our product too, what we do, I'll just tell you, for the month of August only. So you're lucky we're doing this thing now, is the podcast now, is for the month of August. We're actually, for any purchases online, either our original cream or our lifting serum, we're going to send them a free $75 an eye lift serum, so which targets the dark circles. So this is what we're sending
now,
you. One of these for free.
Because of our production schedule, this episode may not air in August. Can we make this offer available for anyone that wants to still access it if they get it in September?
Well, I think we will. I think we're just going to have to, since now it's already been recorded, Tarun. I think you've done it. I think you've cornered me.
There you go. You've heard it first on the Tarun Stevenson Leadership Podcast. Make sure you tell Christine you heard it on this podcast, and she'll give you access to the August special, because I won't get this out before August ends. But that's fantastic. Thank you. And look, if the proof is in the pudding, you definitely don't look 56, Christine. So you look amazing, and clearly it is working for you. And so if anybody wants to have more access to, say, coaching or guidance on starting their own business, you've mentioned Pat does some of that. Where can we find out information about starting our own business and building online profiles?
They can also you can email me as well at events@mesiti.com. So if you can email me, and just tell me that you saw the podcast.
Yep.
And then I'll just direct you and put you in the right direction from there.
Okay, so events@mesiti.com. I'm going to put
Mesiti.com.
I'll put that in the description. Now, do you have any social media? If people want to follow you or reach out to you, where can they find you on social media?
I've got my Swede Success Facebook page.
Great.
So it's under Swede Success is my
Okay.
Facebook page. SWEDE Success.
Yep.
It's my Facebook page. And social media is Christine Huff Mesiti.
Great.
So they can reach out to me on social media there.
We'll put both of those links in the description.
Put them both on there. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fantastic. Any last words?
Christine Huff Mesiti is the
Huff Mesiti. Okay. So any last words for anything you want to feel passionately about that you want to share before we wrap up our conversation today?
You know, I just say everybody just at these times just hang in there and you know, don't discount yourself, you know, no matter what your age, you know, don't discount yourself. Just whatever's in your heart, you know, now's the time to go for it. And, you know, love your family and you know, hard at what you do. So,
yeah, such good advice.
And if you got any questions, just email me if you want to connect. I'm more than happy to chat.
Absolutely. And Christine's one of the nicest people I've ever met. And so I encourage you, if you want to reach out and chat with her, she's very accommodating and very helpful. So please do that. Christine, it's been wonderful to talk to you. Lovely to see your face again. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Okay. Thanks, Tarun. Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you got a ton of value out of that episode. Don't forget to let us know what you thought in the comments. And if you have a topic you'd like us to cover next time, we'd love to hear from you. If you know anyone that would benefit from the content that we produce, please like and share this channel. And we look forward to having you next time on the Tarun Stevenson Leadership Channel.